Bonjour, hello everyone. Welcome to the movie ranking. It's Sunday night. It's Easter Sunday. Do I need to give a shout out to Jesus? I don't even know if that's tasteful or not. Let's do it anyway. Shout outs to Jesus and to Buddha and all the other gods. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. But today is Jesus' one. Is it today? Oh, today he is risen. Oh, that's right. Okay, all right. Let's say hi to my co-host. Bonjour, Elfie. Hello, sir. I mean, this has been a week of beef for you. I haven't known you to get this fucking enthusiastic about anything for a long time. I love how much you're into beef.
You need to watch it.
I do. I don't have a Netflix account, and the usual site that I use doesn't have it yet. I will plow through it as soon as I get a chance. I've seen little snippets from the first episode, including the final shot, which, by the way, Hoobastank. Thank God. I mean, hearing Hoobastank, 2004's best new metal newcoming band. All right. Okay.
It's a great needle
It is
drop.
indeed. Okay. And funny enough, I rewatched Collateral last night, and there are a few in there as well. There's a load of good songs, a load of good needle drops in Collateral. Hi to Stephanie, who is our new co-host. Bonjour, bonjour. Fahad is here. What's up, brother? Here we go.
Hey.
I was thinking of doing Wu-Tang for this because it suits Wu-Tang as that should have been the opening song, but every time I put any kind of track at the beginning which has copyright, YouTube goes mental at me. So it would have been either.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a ball ache, brother. So it would either have been Protect Your Neck or is it chess boxing?
That's fine. Once we're done, you can sing a song, a Wu-Tang song for us later.
I smoke on the mic like smoking Joe Frazier. That's probably a hate crime. Let's stop doing that. Eric, it's been a while. What's up, brother? How are you?
My friend.
Happy Easter to you too. Are you good?
Oh,
you're cutting out a little bit. I don't know if that's you or if it's me, but yeah, you're cutting out a little bit, but hopefully that will fix itself. Technical difficulties. Okay. Matthew, say hello to me. I mean, I don't know why I came in so aggressive on you right there. I mean, I could have just said hello, but no, I demanded you say hello to me. Rude. Oh, we'll get over it. We'll get over it. Nice to hear your voice. Let me say hi to Anna. How are you?
Hello.
Happy Easter to you too. Have you done anything nice today?
No, not for me. Not this Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Next Sunday.
Wait, no, what's next Sunday? Oh.
Easter.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
of course, Orthodox. See.
Yes.
I knew all those religious studies lessons at GCSE were going to come in handy.
You did religious lessons?
I think most it's true. In the UK, I'm not sure if it's still a thing, but certainly when I was at school, religious studies was a mandatory.
Well, look, in Greece is more serious because we have religious courses in the schools.
There we go. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great to hear your voice. No comment.
No comment.
Yeah. Yep. Seth, what's up, pizza man? I don't know if he can speak yet. He sometimes can, he sometimes can't. But I'm saying hello to you, Seth, nonetheless.
Oh, I can hear you now.
There's my boy. There's my boy. How has your Sunday been? It's rugging a little bit. I hope this isn't me. Right? But if there are any problems, if anyone can't hear me or anything like that, please just message Alfie or Stephanie. Oh, he's back. There he is. All right. Let me go to Aaron. Aaron A. I can never say your name without wanting to say Aaron A. Aronson. Don't do that. Yeah, dickhead.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just.
Oh, Seth's coming in. Hey, Seth, how you doing? I'm hosting the show today, buddy. It's called Down Under with Aaron. So what we're going to talk about is how we groom our downstairs, okay? Because sometimes it gets a bit out of control, and you've got to be a bit healthy down there.
Okay.
So, Seth, talk to me.
Was that an advert
By the
for
way,
Manscaped?
Yeah, this is sponsored by Manscaped.
Now,
how are you, mate?
By the way, how come we never actually called Aaron
he should be Aaron A. Aronson.
I think we missed opportunity.
Would you want me to do go through the phone book? Go for Aaron A. Aronson?
Everyone at my work calls me AA Ron. All the kids.
AA Ron.
Like, yo, AA
Yo,
Ron.
AA Ron. Oh, that's a good.
That skit was brilliant.
Unbelievably good. Let me say hi to Abhijit. Abhijit. Namaste, bye. You good?
Hey, brother. Namaste, bye. I'm good. Happy Easter.
Do you do anything? You don't need to reveal your religious inclinations, but do you do anything for Easter Sunday, or is it just another day?
It was just another day. I'm Hindu. I'm a different religion, but yeah, I respect Christianity to every
I don't know
religion.
if you watched Ted Lasso, but there was a great Hindu joke in Ted Lasso this week. I believe what was it? You guys are pointing in more directions than Ganesh giving roadside directions or something like that, wasn't it? It was a good joke. It was a good joke. All right, let me say hi to Maladin.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all.
Nice. Good to hear your voice.
Sorry for my cough. Happy Easter to everybody. Yes, well, I don't celebrate it until next week. I am a Christian Orthodox, and we celebrate it next week. So, happy Easter, and I'll be sending some pictures and posting on the internet on how we celebrate Easter in this part of the world.
And Anna, if you can do the same too, because I want to see what the difference is. Because essentially, for our Easter, it's a big. Well, we just do like a roast dinner, and people get together, and there's the egg hunt. And I never really understood.
No, we don't have egg
and that's
hunt.
the thing. What eggs and
we crush the eggs.
Yeah, we smash eggs.
Yes.
And there is like this in Serbian language, the same word you would use for fuck is actually being used for smashing eggs.
See this?
Yes.
So there's a lot of jokes when Easter comes
now,
with
this space
that.
has often been lauded as, I mean, it is the best movie ranking and best movie space on Twitter, but it's also educational. So I hope everyone has learned a lot. I hope everyone has pens at the ready, because we're already having knowledge dropped on us so far tonight. Hi to Romantic. Good to see you, brother. Moitero. I'm going to get into this because I want to try and get through this in 90 minutes, and I want to hear everyone's list. Tonight is movie sword fights. We had a bit of a discussion earlier about what we should do. There were some really good suggestions, and I have put those all in my back pocket and will claim them as my own at a later date. However, tonight is movie sword fights. And what I loved is usually with these is that whenever we come up with a topic, usually I can do them without having to do too much work. And I know how hypocritical that is, considering that is all I ask you to do, is to do fucking work. But usually you can just, in the top of your head, you can just rattle a list off of your 5 sci-fi movies, romantic comedies, fiction, biopics, whatever it is. That's easy. What I love about this is that I hope some of you have spent some time on YouTube. I really hope some of you have spent some time on YouTube, because I had to go and look, because I had the ones in my head, and honestly, from one of my favorite movies, spoiler, Hero, I think I could have done a whole top 5 just out of that movie alone. But for the sake of some diversity and a bit of creativity, I've had a look at some different ones, and I've had so much fun the last 2 hours just poring over the best movie sword fights. Now, Ryan isn't here, but let me just lay down the rules for the rest of you. It's very simple. It has to be sword fights. I want sword fights, okay? I want you to tell me the movie that sword fight is in. I want the specific scene, and if you can, give me the name of the people in it and give me some context. The reason for this, and also, sorry, yes, most notably, no lightsabers, okay? I get it. I get whatever arguments you might have that yes, they count. They don't count because they're not swords. The reason why we've gone for sword fights tonight, and the reason why I had so much fun over the last 2 hours, is that there's so much variety. There's so much variety. You can go any way you want with this. You can go with kind of your medieval, brutal broadsword, Conan swinging the sword kind of stuff. You can go into China and Japan and martial arts movies. You can go back to the dawn of Hollywood. Sword fighting was always a mandatory course for drama students and acting students in the day, and there's a reason for that. Mainly because sword fights come in so many different varieties. You've obviously got there's tension in those fights, there's brutality, but there's comedy. There's huge potential for comedy in sword fights. Athleticism, they can be sexy, they can be emotional, they can be poetic, they can be anything. There really is a lot of variety here. Just so, as I said, just make sure there's no lightsabers and they are swords. If anyone wants to argue with me that everything everywhere all at once counts, I'm sorry, no. Dildos are not swords, as much as people wish that they were, but they're not. And just to throw him under the bus, Ryan asked me he has asked me some stupid fucking questions in his day, but Jesus Christ, he said, do knives count? My answer: yes, knives count as long as they are roughly the same length as a fucking sword, you absolute bellend. So no. I will start with a quote, and then I'll say hi to a few more people, and then we'll get started. Very highbrow this evening. We're starting with a quote from Confucius, who once said, "Never give a sword to a man who can dance." And that's, again, it highlights, I think, the same with martial arts scenes, the same with fight sequences. So the Raid and Jackie Chan and Jet Li, that there is a rhythm to sword fights. It's like music. It really is like music. So I'm interested to see what some of you guys have come up with.
So I can give to my husband a sword because he doesn't know how to.
Oh, well, you see now what he's done there is he's made the silly error of learning, like pouring all that energy into learning 9 languages when he could have been learning to dance.
Yes, you could.
Schoolboy error. I still steal him from you in a heartbeat, though. Okay, let me say hi to Anthony. Anthony is here, the squeaky man. I've got Gabriel, Ultra Lord, from, I think you're in California, but I can never remember. I know you're in America. It's good to see you, brother. Kevin is back. Lots of love to Kevin. Let's begin. I'll get mine out of the way. I've sent a few links. Hopefully Steph is going to put them in the nest. And guys, if you can do the same, send to Alfie or to Stephanie just YouTube links of some of your sword fights, because I really want people to go away and watch these, because I think if you haven't seen it, obviously you have no frame of context, but in other categories that's possible. In this, you really need to be able to watch them. So I'll begin with me and Steph, and we'll go from there. So my number 5. Where did I start? I start with Sexy. I'm bringing sexy back. Okay, it's Mask of Zorro at number 5. And again, you could probably actually get a whole top 5 out of that movie alone. I think you all know where I'm going, considering I've said Sexy. This is the sword fight between Zorro, Antonio Banderas, and Elena, Catherine Zeta-Jones, doing a passable Spanish accent. It's not.
Oh my God, that was
not
great.
Quite a hate crime, but I mean, it's close. But okay, I mean, a lot of this is about timing. A lot of this is about timing and chemistry, because let's be honest. And I know this is kind of ironic ironic. I'm saying this about a sword fight movie space. The swords and the sword play in this fight is the least interesting thing. You're not really watching the sword fight. You're watching both of them, the way they talk to each other, the way they move, the way they interact. When he does the backflips to go and retrieve his sword, and let's not forget the slice, and how that ends with how would I put this?
Oh my!
She becomes derobed, let's just say, in a wonderful little moment. It also has one of my favorite little kind of sound effects, which is now it's a how do I describe it? He draws his sword, and at the same time that he draws his sword, I hope you can see this in the fight itself. There is the flamenco strum of the guitar. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, they use it so much in the Shrek movies and the Puss in Boots, but it's a and then the sword fight begins. All right, so that's my number 5. I went with Sexy to start. Stephanie's number 5. Go to the list. Open it up. Oh, Kill Bill 1. Oh, sorry, Kill Bill Volume 1. Okay, so there's going to be some Kill Bills tonight. I know that. So people can, like I said, my advice always is, if someone has picked yours, you have the option to swap it out or stick with it, because I think there's going to be quite a lot of Kill Bill Volume 1s in tonight. She's gone for The Bride versus Vernita Green. Can everyone remind me, who's Vernita Green? Which one is that?
The black one?
Is that the beginning? Or
yes, the black one.
Okay.
Vivica Fox?
No, that's it.
Yes, Vivica A. Fox. I always
okay.
forget
So that's
the
our
name.
first mention of Kill Bill Volume 1. My number 4, I've gone classic. And I've had to make some sacrifices here. But I think this needs to be in there for range. My number 4 is The Adventures of Robin Hood, 1938. Errol Flynn and Basil Rathbone. So obviously Robin Hood versus Guy of Gisborne. It is the staircase fight, and it is classic, absolute classic. There's sword play in there which is up there. It's really up there. I think sometimes it gets forgotten that fencing is a bit of a lost art, and Jesus Christ, do these two know how to fight. There's a wonderful sequence where he gets pushed underneath a huge candelabra, and Gisborne says, "Ha! Say your prayers," and Robin Hood replies with, "I'll say one for you," and it's "Hata!" It is the literal equivalent of the phrase "have at you." It's a great fight, and there's one sequence in it where it lets them they fight from left to right of the screen, and they pass out of shot, but then the camera stays on the wall, and all you can see is the silhouettes, their shadows, continuing the sword fight. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Have a look at it if you haven't seen it. So that's my number 4, Adventures of Robin Hood, Basil Rathbone and Errol Flynn, 1938. Let's go to Steph's number 4. She's gone with The First Knight. She's gone classic Richard Gere as Lancelot. She's gone, I mean, it's not specifically between him and one person. I will allow this though, because it's the battle at Lyons, or the Lyonesse. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. a very memorable scene. But that's a great shout. That's a wonderful. So that's our first one for first night tonight. I didn't think, Richard Gere was going to get a mention tonight. Nevertheless, right, my number 3. Now, there's a number I could have done from this, but I can't have a top 5 without this in it. So it's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It is between Michelle Yeoh and Zhang Ji. You all know the one I'm talking about. Jen versus Shulen. There are a number of different swords used in this. Technically, you could get me on a technicality that at one point Michelle Yeoh does use a spear, but she also uses a pair of swords with a curved edge, with curved ends, which then hook onto each other. So she then starts swinging those as one sword round her head. My personal favorite is I don't know what the word is for it, but it's technically just a big thick iron bar that she uses. And there's that bit where they fight with it, and obviously Zhang Ji has the Green Destiny. I think that's what the sword is called. And it has carved this thing to pieces. And then you see the Ang Lee is beautiful with the cinematography. There's just a close up on her hand, and it's shaking. And it's just shaking after she's gone at Michelle Yeoh with the when she's got the iron bar. All right, so that's the first mention for Crouching Tiger tonight. Number 3 is for Stephanie. She's gone Kingdom of Heaven. Balin versus Aladdin. Or Balian. I always pronounce his name wrong. We've had our arguments on here whether or not Orlando Bloom can actually act. I think the jury is still out. He can sword fight, though. He can sword fight. And there's also a very good one in that movie. I mean, the very beginning one with him and Liam Neeson is very good. Okay, so that's number 3. Right, my 2 and then my 1. What did I decide on? I went... Oh, okay. Now, I've only gone with this at number 2. It would be my number 1 if number 1 wasn't number 1, but it is what it is. Hero. Okay, you've heard me talk about it a number of times. Jet Li's Hero. And again, you could go with at least 5 on your own in Hero. I want to go with the first one with Donnie Yen, but technically that's a spear, so I can't, so I won't. I've gone for the lake. I've gone for the lake fight scene between Broken Sword and Nameless. So that's Jet Li and Tony Young, I believe. Beautifully shot. They're essentially just skipping over the surface of a beautiful lake, and kind of the sequences where they return the swords to the lake. Stephanie's put it into the nest if you want to have a quick look at it. This is one of the most emotional fight scenes I think I've ever seen. I think if you know the context, if you've seen the movie, it's an incredibly emotional sequence. There's a little bit where they start actually playing tennis with a drop of water. They slap it kind of back to each other, and it's kind of funny until the water drop breaks and half of it flies off and lands on Maggie Cheung's face, and that changes the rest of the scene. I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but please go and watch that movie and that scene in particular. All right, that's my number 2. I'm bringing this home. I have a feeling this is going to be on a few people's lists. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, The Black Knight. Come back here, you yellow bastard! I'll bite your legs off. None shall pass. None shall pass. One of the funniest. And again, it's not really about the swordplay. There's not a great deal of swordplay. But if we're talking the greatest, and by that I mean most iconic and memorable, and let's just fucking face it, funny. The funniest.
It's just a flesh wound.
It's just a
flesh wound.
Listen, no, that is a hate crime, Kale. But yes, he has his arm off first, doesn't he? He says, "I've had." What does he say? He said, You are indeed brave, Sir Good Knight, but the fight is mine. I've had worse. I've had worse.
You have.
Yeah. Look, you crazy bastard, you've got no arms. Yes, I have. All right, so that's mine. So I went Monty Python, the Holy Grail, the Black Knight, Arthur versus the Black Knight at 1. Hero, the lake fight scene between Broken Sword and Nameless. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon at 3. Jen versus Shulen. The Adventures of Robin Hood from 1938 at number 4. Basil Rathbone and Errol Flynn. And The Mask of Zorro at number 5. Let me finish off Stephanie's list. Her number 2, she's gone for A Knight's Tale. William Thatcher, Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein versus an anonymous knight. I know that scene. That's when Paul Bettany and Heath Ledger are talking, and he's kind of rushed and has to go straight into a sword fight, into a sword fighting bout. That's a great one at number 2. And then again, okay, her number 1 is a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. Athleticism, timing, comedy, emotion. It's The Princess Bride. The Man in Black versus Inigo Montoya at the very beginning. That's a fantastic number 1. So Stephanie's 1 to 5, Princess Bride at number 1. Number 2 was A Knight's Tale. Number 3 was Kingdom of Heaven. 4, First Knight, Richard Gere in the Battle of Lyons. And 5, Kill Bill Volume 1. That's our 5. All right, handing over to Alfie. Alfie, pick some people. You go yourself, and then pick three others if you may.
I'll go, and I'll do Theresa's list too because she can't be here today. And I'll go with Eric and Aaron.
Eric and Aaron. Wonderful. You kick us off, brother. Go for it.
All right. So my number 5 is actually a movie. I was actually thinking about this movie 2 days ago when I was watching Beef because it reminded me a lot of that movie. And so my number 5 is Ridley Scott's The Duelist.
Oh, that's the old one, not the last duel. This is the old one, isn't it?
That was his very first film.
Tell me about the scene. I can't recall it.
Well, the movie itself is the fight scene is between Keith Carradine and Harvey Keitel, but there is one fight sequence that they have like during this the Napoleon War that is just absolutely incredible, and I think this film came out like in this mid-70s, I believe, and it has a lot to pick from sword fights, but that's. I can't even describe it because it's so at that point it's almost at the end of the movie, but it's so incredible that it really makes up the whole movie. And I still think that this is top 5 Ridley Scott movies. It's his very first film.
If you can find a clip for it, please put it in the nest. But good to have a movie recommendation. I haven't seen The Duelist, so that's one to watch. That's definitely one to go on the list. Excellent. So The Duelist at number 5. What's Teresa's number 5?
Her number 5 is Arthur versus the Black Knight in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I've always said this about Teresa. She has excellent taste. A woman with excellent taste. Fantastic. Okay, so another vote for the Black Knight versus Arthur in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Eric, over to you, sir. Your number 5, please.
Your arms are off.
No, they're not.
Okay, we'll call it a draw.
Okay.
It's got to be Monty Python.
That's your number 5?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. I mean,
oh yeah, I wrote down 5 scenes. They popped into my head so fast, and that was number 5.
Okay, we're going to move on then. Aaron, over to you for number 5.
Number 5 is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Fuck off. I love that everyone has gone 5 and I've gone 1. I think that speaks for itself. I'm just writing.
Well, mine was actually higher. When you went number 1, I'm like, well, I'm not going to fucking copy you now.
Well, you wouldn't want. Why would you want to do that?
Bumped down. That's your fault. It's your fault that I've had to reduce Monty Python to 5. So blame yourself.
I mean, I've never been worried about incurring the wrath of Michael Palin until today. Yeah. Okay, excellent start. All right, good. I mean, everyone's gone for the same number 5 apart from Alfie. Alfie, back to you. Your number 4, please.
My number 4. This one's kind of basic, but I had to put it in, but I didn't had it that high. So that's Kill Bill Volume 1.
Now, which are you going? Crazy 88? Are you going?
I'm going Crazy 88.
Crazy 88. Wonderful.
Yes.
Excellent. I think that I'd be intrigued to know, and I think when Ryan comes in, he will probably be able to find facts for us. But I'd love to know kind of the famous choreographers for this, because I have a feeling whoever worked on Tarantino's Kill Bill Volume 1, it must have been someone of some note, because that sequence, it's iconic. A lot of it's to do with the music. But then also a lot of it is the kind of freneticism. Is that a word? The frenetic pace and the energy within that scene. And let's be honest, it's a Tarantino movie, so there's plenty of blood and gore. It's ticking a lot of boxes. Fantastic. All right, Crazy 88 at 4. What was Teresa's number 4?
Teresa's number 4 is also The Bride versus the Crazy 88.
Okay. All right, I'm enjoying this tonight. Okay, I mean, Eric, for the sake of some variety, please, come on, brother, help us out here.
Well, it seems like we've all been studying together. The teacher would be raising an eyebrow at this. But no, I went with my name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Oh,
commander of the Third Army, leader of the Phoenix Legions. But it's not the final scene.
Commander of the Legions of the North. Commander of the Legions of the North. Come on, finish it. If you're going to start it, finish it, Eric. Go on.
Husband to a murdered wife, father to a murdered son, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Boy. I mean,
oh yeah, hey, come on, we're in a movie room. If you can't quote a line, just go home.
He was on the Empire podcast this week. Not for one of it. I mean, for the Pope's Exorcist. Although he did spout some really good knowledge about the real life figure that he's playing in that movie. But he did speak a little bit about Gladiator 2.
Yep, and he said, "I'm not in it.
I'm not in it because yeah. I mean, he's made some bad choices. I think that's one of his good choices. I think. All right, so the first mention of Gladiator tonight, but hang on, you didn't actually say which scene. Which scene?
Yeah, it's not the one with Commodus at the end, because you knew he was going to get his revenge.
And it's not that. I mean, it's not really an icon. Okay. Which one do you go for?
It's the one where he's fighting Tigris of Gaul, the champion that is pulled out of retirement. And Commodus says it's been arranged, and the tigers are coming. Yeah, and the tigers are coming out of the ground, and he's got to fight tigers and Tigris of Gaul. And then the emperor says, "Kill him," and he throws the axe away. And then he's called Maximus the Merciful. That was so satisfying. It's just like a big fu to the emperor.
Again, we were going to talk a lot about music in this space, because the two go hand in hand, sword fights and music. That's Hans Zimmer, isn't it? I'm pretty sure, isn't it? That's Hans Zimmer's score.
Yes, to my knowledge, yes.
And the ending of that, the swell of the strings, the
it was tremendous.
Wonderful choice. All right, first mention of Gladiator tonight. Aaron, what's your number 4, brother?
Number 4 is Princess Bride, Wesley versus Indiana Montoya.
Oh, another man with excellent names.
So it's already been mentioned. Well, Steph. That's okay.
It is okay. It's all right. We can share the love.
We can share the love. So it's number 4.
Lovely. Okay, so Princess Bride at number 4. Back to you, Alfie, for your 3, please.
My number 3 is also Michelle Yeoh and Shang-Chi in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which I actually saw for the first time a couple weeks ago.
What was that like? First viewing?
It was. I didn't know what to expect because I mean I've heard people talk about it for so long, but I didn't really know what it was about. Aside from, it was a martial arts movie, but I didn't know it was. I mean, I think it might have like the most mesmerizing fight sequences that I've ever seen.
It really does, and I think it's one of those movies which it is about a lot more. And I know that people who are really fans of martial art movies, they always say this to try and get people to watch them who aren't into them. They always say this: it's martial, but it's about a whole lot more. But Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon truly is much more than just the fight scenes. So much metaphor. Dripping with metaphor. Okay, all right. So another one for Jen versus Shulun in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. What was Teresa's number 3?
Her number 3 is Achilles versus Hector in Troy.
Oof. Okay. It's a tough watch, and for those of us, and I believe Anna especially, and probably Mladen as well. Those of us who know our Greek mythology. It was a bit of a spoiler, really, because there's only one way that fight's going, and how that ends. It's yeah.
Oh no! With the Hollywood, you never know.
I used to listen to the audiobooks. There was The Adventures of Odysseus, and it was read by Tony Robinson. And when I was about 7 or 8, I used to listen to that on repeat. Good times, and hopefully there's more Greek mythology coming up in tonight's one. I have a feeling. I have a feeling there is more coming, because there's plenty of options. But okay, she's gone with Troy, Achilles versus Hector. A tough ending. Brian Cox in that as well, actually. Agamemnon, one of the funnest names to say. Agamemnon. Oh, no, I can't do that. Right. Okay, let's carry on. Eric.
Oh yeah, he is, and he recently said in an interview that Brad Pitt was so hot on set that he would forget his lines.
I believe, now, hang on. There's 2 definitions of hot. There's 2 ways that could be interpreted.
He meant that he was so attractive that he forgot his lines. That's what he meant.
I think I can understand.
I can understand that too. Great.
Even when he called him a sack of wine?
I would be the same.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sure he's been called worse. What's your number 3, Eric, brother?
Okay, this whole movie kind of pissed me off. I appreciated the choreography and all the rest of it, but I read the Iliad, and that's not how Hector and Achilles fought. Not. But it's still a fantastic fight scene. And I mean, Achilles had the advantage. His mother was a god, for crying out loud.
Superhuman. Yeah, he is.
It's Thetis, right?
Yeah.
But even still, Hector was still managed to scratch his armor.
No,
Nobody's ever touched him.
Say again, Anna?
Yes, Thetis, his mother, when he was born, in order to protect him from the menaces of other gods, what she did, she put him in a special mixture.
That's it, and she had to hold him by the heel. She dipped him
immortal,
by the ankle.
Kind of immortal.
That's it.
Yes, by the ankles. But he put him in, but he held the baby from the ankles.
Yeah.
So the ankles was his sensitive spot.
Yeah.
Hence the term Achilles heel.
In Greek, I don't know if it is in English.
Oh yeah.
That the Ascilion heel means that it's your sensitive spot.
Okay. I mean, the famous phrase Achilles.
The spot that makes you
human, weak and vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so another vote for Troy.
And funny thing about that movie, Brad Pitt actually ruptured his Achilles tendon on set. And had to get surgery, and they had to delay filming and all that kind of stuff.
No, you couldn't write it. I mean, you could.
The irony of it all.
I know. I'm so... listen, I wanted to say the irony of it all now, but I've now become so wary. I've become so wary of saying that's ironic after the Ted Lasso episode.
It's very interesting. If you see what they were wearing at that time, the men who were fighting.
Leather skirts.
Because
pretty much.
No, it was not only leather. It was from iron, and all this iron they had on them. It was very heavy. So I think normally they had the muscular corporation.
You think back in the day, and Caesar's legions were famous for being able to march up to 30 to 40 miles a day.
Yes, can you imagine? Or Alexander the Great with Sarissa swords. Very... Oh my God.
Thank God for the...
This was heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we've had another vote for Troy at 3. Let's go, Aaron. Aaron, you're number 3, please, sir.
Mine's Maximus versus Commodus.
Maximus versus Commodus in Gladiator.
Yes, one because obviously what Commodus does, but probably what pips it is Hans. My mate Hans' score is just phenomenal and just amplifies.
He's got so many, but I don't know if he's done better work than Gladiator. I mean, Inception's up there, but Gladiator in particular.
I'd just like to add a shout out to the Australian Lisa Gerard, who was the vocals for that particular score section.
The Fields of Elysium. It sounds like Enya.
Yep. Yes, apparently the story is he was looking for something for that scene, and I can't remember. Someone had Lisa Gerard only did one album, and he goes, "Yeah, listen to this," and gave it to Hans to listen to, and he listened to it, and he's like, "Yep, done." You got her in. And I got to see when he was in Melbourne, he did his concert in Melbourne, and Lisa took the stage and did that as well. So
that's got to be on YouTube. That's got to be on YouTube. Can someone find that?
It would be
someone find that.
It would be somewhere, but
Lisa Gerard singing live. I'd want to see that in Melbourne.
Yep. It was amazing.
Of course it was. All right. Speaking of amazing, back to Alfie. 2 and then 1, please, brother.
My number 2 is I also have a Zorro fight sequence here, but it's from the Mark of Zorro from 1940.
Okay. Ooh. I don't know if I've seen this. Okay.
Yeah, that one. I will be sending the video of that because this is something I don't want to describe it. It's something that just needs to be seen because this film came out in exactly 1940. I believe it was the first Zorro movie with Tyrone Power. That particular fight sequence between Tyrone Power and Basil Rathbone. And it's mostly, they did their own fight sequences except for some bits, which they were done by doubles. But you can't barely notice any changes because pretty much the whole sequence is, there are very little cuts. So it's incredible considering that, it was done in 1940 because it's this sword fight in this dining room, and they were like jumping on tables, and there were a lot of other people in the room as well who were trying to to not get slashed by the swords. And it's just incredible.
I think again, just going back to the opening quote that we began with by Confucius, never give a sword to a man who can dance. Those early sequences, and again, another shout for Basil Rathbone. Also famous for Sherlock Holmes, the very early Sherlock Holmes, clearly classically trained. No, I think that's one. they talked about Gareth Evans when he was talking about making The Raid. He talked about him taking inspiration from the early Jackie Chan movies, where they knew how to shoot action, which was make sure that you get as much of the camera follows the action. It's not cutting between things. So a lot of the time is taking a step back and doing it at a bit of a distance so you can see the entire thing. And that obviously goes all the way back to early Hollywood. So Mark of Zorro, and we've already had a mention for Robin Hood from 1938. They knew how to do this shit better back then than a lot of filmmakers know how to do now. And that's kind of a little bit unforgivable because just do the work. Go and have a look. All right, another vote for Basil Rathbone then, and number 2. What was your number 1, bro?
My number 1, this one's interesting because I wanted to have a Kurosawa movie.
Nice.
And I knew it's gonna be in my number 1, but I was like, I don't know which one to choose. Because it's funny because Kurosawa does get a lot of flowers all the time, but I don't think people talk a lot about how good of an action director he was. Mostly because his films were so well written and directed. Which is fair. But this one
is this Ran? Is this
okay. No. This is actually one of his underrated movies, I would say, because nobody talks about this movie. It's from a movie called Sanjuro, which is it's actually a sequel to Yojimbo. Now, this fight sequence, it's really short. It does take about 30 seconds long. But to make a little frame of reference, I'm sure if anyone has seen this movie already, if you have seen the latest John Wick movie, I'm sure the ending of that movie was really inspired by that fight sequence in Sanjuro, because it's basically, as I mentioned, 30 seconds long, but it's that these two swordsmen who are in this kind of duel, and basically they just waiting for someone to give them a mark so they can take out their swords and just try to slash the other, and they're like an arm length distance from each other, and it's just it's interesting because it isn't really about the fight in itself, because it is so short, but it's also so powerful because of the whole build-up that Kurosawa did to that very moment. So that's why it is my favorite.
If anyone can find a clip for that and post that in the nest, I'd be incredibly grateful. I'll be looking that one up anyway as soon as I get a chance. So that's Kurosawa Sanjuro?
Yes.
And number 1, your number 2 was The Mark of Zorro from 1940, Basil Rathbone. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, fight between Jen and Shulun at number 3. Number 4 is Kill Bill Volume 1 versus The Crazy 88. And number 5, The Duelist, Ridley Scott's early movie, The Duelist. Fight at the end sequence. Okay, wonderful. Keep going for me though, bro. Teresa's 2 and her number 1.
Her number 2 is Jason versus the Skeletons in Jason and the Argonauts.
Yes. Yay! Like I said, I had a feeling there was going to be more Greek mythology coming up. Now, I'm pretty certain she's not talking about the one with Sam Worthington, is she? She's talking about the Harryhausen.
I don't think
this is the Harryhausen classic.
It's got to be the original.
Yeah, this is the classic Harryhausen. If you haven't seen it, I mean, it is cinematic history. It is a hallmark of cinematic history and pushed the boundaries at the time in terms of what they were able to do. Incredible movie and incredible sequence as well. That's great. Okay, what was her number 1?
Her number 1 is Rob Roy versus Cunningham.
Oh,
in Rob Roy.
Damn it, that's brilliant. Is that the final one? That's the final one? I think.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen it, but it might be that one.
That's a great. Oh, Big Liam at number 1. Now there was a cry of anguish from, I believe that was Eric, where You're 2 and 1. Now, where is Rob Roy? Is that 2 or 1?
No, that's okay. I got Princess Bride at number 2.
The same one, Inigo Montoya.
The same. And I don't know if the actors actually put in the work to learn how to duel left-handed and then switch to right-handed. But if they did, oh my God! Shout out! Holy cow! That's devotion to the craft.
Like I said,
it's immense devotion to the craft.
I'd have a feeling they don't teach it at Juilliard anymore. And they probably don't at RADA either, just for the sake of balance.
But I wouldn't put it past Mandy Patinkin to learn.
Not. Man was a master craftsman. All right, perfect. So that leaves Rob Roy at number 1. Same fight?
Yes, and it is the final duel.
Tell me about it.
It's the broadsword versus the rapier. Right. And the guy is just toying with him. And the broadsword is just way too slow compared to the flash and glitz of the rapier until he's just about to cut Liam Neeson's throat, and Liam Neeson grabs the blade with his offhand. And it's bleeding. And the guy's trying to pull it back, but he's not letting go. And he ups with this broadsword and just practically cuts him from the shoulder right down to his pelvis. Right. In one, he only landed one blow, but that's all it took.
I'm so glad you've given me the opportunity.
Satisfying.
You've given me the opportunity to say this. He
satisfying.
Cleaves him in twain. Cleaves in twain. I remember.
And the best part for me about that was because going into that scene, you really didn't know who was going to win.
I mean, there's a lot of
you really didn't know
of that in Maximus and versus Commodus in Gladiator, because you're kind of going into that actually thinking, there's no way especially the way that fight scene starts in Rob Roy. You're like the way it deliberately it puts him so on the back foot, and you as the watcher are like, oh, he is fucked.
Yeah, it's like you're catching a guy first thing in the morning with a 3-alarm hangover, But I had the feeling that Maximus was going to win that fight, but this one I was totally in the dark about it. And when he cleaved him, I remember jumping up and just shouting, "Yes! Yes!" You know what I mean? Oh God, it was so satisfying, and that's why it's my number one.
Speaking of satisfying, if you want to hear Brian Cox deliver the line "quim," or a line using the word
it's almost equal to Loki calling Scarlett Johansson a mewling quim.
I swear it's deliberately taken. I think it's deliberately lifted from Rob Roy, because I can't think of another movie which uses that word so viscerally.
and when he's walking off to the final duel with the Marquis, he says to his wife, who had been raped by this guy and was pregnant, he tells her, if it's a girl, name her Maggie. But if it's a boy, name him Robert. In other words, he's taking on. You talk about a man of stature and a principle and all. Yeah, use my name. He's mine now. And I'm going, whether I live or die, name him this or this. And it was just, powerful. Because when he says that, you don't know if he's coming back.
Great storytelling. Classic storytelling.
It was fantastic.
I need to move on because we're getting too caught up here. We're getting too emotional, Eric. Let's bring it down.
Okay, step down.
Thank you so much. You had a wonderful list. Very similar to Teresa's. Teresa's was Rob Roy versus Cunningham and Rob Roy at 1. Number 2 was Jason versus the Argonauts. Number 3 was another vote for Troy, Achilles versus Hector. 4 was Crazy 88. 5, The Black Knight in Holy Grail. Eric started with the same one. Black Knight in Holy Grail is number 4 as Gladiator. Maximus versus Commodus. Number 3, again, Troy, Achilles versus Hector. Princess Bride at number 2. And a wonderful reason for, if you haven't seen Rob Roy, please go and watch it. It essentially is the movie that Braveheart wished it was. And that hurts to say that, because when I was 13 or whatever and Braveheart came out, I genuinely believe that was the best movie ever made. Thank God for time and education, and and movies in general, because it doesn't stand the test of time. Speaking of not standing the test of time, as it's Easter, I don't know why at Easter over here in the UK they always fucking play. They always show Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and I used to watch that movie on fucking hard rotation when I was a child. On hard rotation, let's just say it does not stand the test of time. I could only stomach about 45 seconds of it, and it was during the big battle sequence. So, anyway, all right. Thank you so much, Eric, and thank you. If guys, when you've done your list, if you can drop down just so we can allow more people in to speak, that'd be fantastic. Thank you so much. Wonderful, Aaron. Over to you, son. Bring it home for me.
All right, number 2 is Bruce Wayne versus Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it was. I knew it'd be in there. There would not be there wouldn't be a sword fight list of yours which didn't have this in it. I knew it was coming. So from The Dark Knight, another Liam Neeson.
No, Batman Begins.
Oh, sorry. Begins. Of course. Batman Begins. Yeah. Another Liam Neeson shout.
Yep.
Go on. Say the line. Say the line.
Which one?
Come on. Let's just say there's the callback to it at the end of the movie.
You never. God, was it?
There you go. We got there. There
yes. Because I always quote the one after it. When my kids are cold, I'm always like, rub your chest, your arms will take care of themselves.
Yeah. All right.
Every time.
It's
and I have to use
the ice. It's
the
the ice sequence, isn't it? On the ice.
Yeah, it's the ice sequence, and Bruce runs and he slides on his knees and he picks up the sword and he thinks he's won. Yeah. And Liam's like, "You didn't mind your surroundings." And
great ending.
and he goes. And it's obviously it's a training.
Another great example of how there need to be literal beats in a sword fight. It's timing. It's ding to ding to ding to ding, and
Liam needs more sword stuff because you've got that. You've also obviously got Star Wars, where he's got his lightsaber happening. And you got Rob Roy. I mean, he needs to bring back his sword.
His sword play.
He needs to bring back.
Do you know that? Play. I think he just reached with his latest one, Marlowe. He reached 100 movies. That's his 100th movie. Dude's going strong.
I haven't seen that. Is it out?
Yeah, it's out. Yeah. Anyway, what's your number? What's your number one?
I think you're going to appreciate this one, buddy.
Yeah.
My number one is Herger versus the big guy in 13th Warrior.
In what?
13th Warrior.
Fucker. Oh, you fucker! I forgot about 13th Warrior. Fuck. Oh.
And how he just toy. You're talking about toying with somebody?
Can someone find a clip from that? Can someone find that link, please? And either send it to Alfie or Stephanie, or just post it into the Nest yourself. In case you don't know how to post stuff in the Nest, just put the link and tweet it. Just do a normal tweet, and then once you've tweeted it, go to the tweet and do the forward button. I think if it's Apple, it's like the upward facing arrow. If it's Samsung, it's the 3 dots. It will then give you the option to post it into the space. So that's how you put stuff in the Nest. Sorry, Aaron, back to you. Tell people about this 13th Warrior. Tell people about this scene.
Okay, so the setup of this scene is obviously the 13 warriors have gone to this village to help them out, but it's kind of like a power struggle between the king and I think it's his son, if I remember correctly.
Classic Norse mythology trait. Yeah.
Yeah. And the son's got like this big bodyguard, and so to show a sign of strength, one of probably the smallest guy there in the 13 Warriors,
and considered to be, because he's an outsider, he's considered it's framed perfectly as this is a massive kind of David versus Goliath kind of fight.
Yeah, and it's even like you said, it's framed that way and everything, and so he decides to pick a fight with the biggest guy, and it's. So basically, they have in this Norse mythology, they have 3 shields, and every time a shield breaks, they've got to go and pick up the next shield, and then they got to pick up the next shield and the next shield and the next shield, and until you have no shields left, and then it's basically you against the other guy. It's obviously fight to the death. And I am not going to let you guys know how it ends, because it ends obviously with one of them dying.
Definitively.
Definitively dying. But the reason behind the way it played out is what makes it so good. Because basically when you're watching it in the eyes of Antonio Banderas. You're watching it going, oh my God. And like Antonio's going, you need to stop this, going to the king, going, you need to stop this. He's going to get killed and blah, 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 blah. And you're feeling the exact same way, because it literally is like David versus Goliath. But when you see the result, and then when you realize why the result occurred the way it did, it's just so good. And what I do like about it, and this is the first thing, like most of the times when you schedule these spaces, it's like what comes to my mind straight away. And it was this scene. And what I love about this scene, no music.
That's true. Oh my God, that's true.
There is no music, and it's just all you hear is the brutal hits and thumps and the sword clangs, and the breaking of the shields.
I'd love to know. I'd love to, because you put your finger on it there perfectly. Sound design is so important to a fight, to a sword fight. Again with the timing, the cling, clong, cling, 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 it has to be perfect. And I'd love to see what an actual sword fight sounds like when they're really doing it, because it's probably obviously
that's the thing. Sorry, with this one, from what I could remember, there's not a lot of swords clanging. There wasn't traditional sword clang. These are like massive, heavy swords, and they'll literally majority of the shots were being blocked by the shield. So it wasn't like your traditional ching, 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 ching. It was literally a massive swing and a bang onto the actual shields itself. And that's why when it comes to the ending, when one of them doesn't have the shield, you're like, oh shit, because they've been relying on this shield the entire time. So
beautiful, brother.
Watch it,
excellent.
Watch
please, someone find a clip for that, please. 13th Warrior, Antonio Banderas. Is your number one. Your number two was Bruce Wayne versus Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins, Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. Another vote for Maximus versus Commodus at 3. Another vote for Princess Bride at 4, and another vote for Black Knight at 5. This is I'm loving this.
I will drop down. I love you all. Have a good Easter.
Good man.
And I shall speak to you
later. Love you lots, brother. Have a good one. We're not here to fuck spiders. Anyway, that's a good start. Right. Alfie, pick 4 more for me, please. Let me say hi to people who've come in. Trambacalus. Hi, dude. What's up? If you want to speak, put your hand up, and we'll try and get you in. We're doing sword fights tonight. I think you got the gist of it. Top 5s only. No lightsabers. That's the only rule. No lightsabers, and they have to be swords. No dildos. Sorry, if you haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, that will have made no sense whatsoever. Hi to Vanya. What's up, babe? And hi to David. The very busy David. If anyone hasn't checked out David on a daily basis, he is doing work putting out content. You are doing stellar work, my friend. Ethic. Not today's Wordle, but ethic. Work ethic, brother. Right. Alfie, give me 4 more, please.
We're gonna go with Matthew, Anna, and Mladen, and I'm also gonna do real quick Fahad's, and I do have a list from Paul and Helen's. Fahad, we've talked about most of this movie, so we can do that one as well. And Paul and Helen, that's a kind of a nightmare list for me, so I want to do that.
Oh, sorry, I've just been talking with them. Okay, right. So we're doing Matthew, Anna, Fahad, and Paul and Helen. Was that right?
Yes, and I think we can do Mladen
as well. We'll do Mladen as well. Okay, let's do that. Guys, hold on as well. So we'll get through everyone. Let's start with Matthew. Give me your number 5, brother. Talk to me.
I did a lot of digging, and I chose, out of my 5, I chose 4 that hasn't been said yet.
Oh, brilliant. New one.
So my first one is Scott Pilgrim versus Gillian Gates from Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
You sneaky boy. Oh,
I have to.
Wait, hang on. Which one is it? Is that versus who?
Gillian
So
Gates?
the final, we're talking the final.
That's the
Jason Schwartzman. That's
character.
it. Yeah.
It's the video game S battle.
That's it. Oh, dude, I'm quite angry. I didn't even think of that. Oh, excellent start. What's your favorite bit about it?
My favorite part is when those two they're.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. I was trying to mute myself and I muted everyone. Matthew, I'm sorry. Continue. Tell me your favorite part. Sorry, of Gideon versus Scott Pilgrim. Have I unmuted everyone? Can people now speak? Matthew, sorry about that.
I've been talking on silence.
I'm so sorry. Right. It's all right, though, because now you know exactly what to say again.
My favorite part of the fight is when those two are running up to each other. It's like straight out of a Japanese anime.
I mean, it's full on anime. Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about I think there's a lot of Chinese content in these lists tonight. You have a few different categories. You've got the traditional, the 1930s, 1940s kind of Hollywood, which kind of comes out of Britain, a mix between Britain and the US. You've got China's incredible output in terms of martial arts movies and wire work, but Japan has a different. It's a different vibe to it.
Anime.
Absolutely. And the anime style. Apparently Michael B. Jordan said that about Creed 3. He used a lot of that. He used a lot of influence from anime in that as well.
I got that.
But no, sorry. It's a great shout, Matthew. Good start. Okay, let's go to Anna. What's your number 5, please?
My number 5 is the same as yours. It's a Mask of Zorro. Yes, Banderas with.
Let's just call it what it is.
Yes.
It's a sexy fight. It's a sexy fight. I mean, the chemistry, the broiling tension.
Sexy and a little bit humorous.
It's playful as well. I mean, this is the thing, is that most sword fights are believable in terms of, let's just say, okay, there's something that happens in this fight.
Brutal.
I think at one point, Antonio Banderas runs his gloved fingers along her blade. And let's just say...
Yes, because he thinks that she doesn't know.
She can't fight. And she's been trained since she was 4.
Yes, exactly.
There's a lot of heavy breathing in that fight as well. So just... Yeah.
Yes, but at the end, he won it, but not fair.
I mean, technically, yes, you would have got him on a technicality. Okay, another vote for Mask of Zorro at 5. Fahad, Alfie, what was Fahad's number 5?
His number 5 is Aragorn versus Uruk-hai, which I believe is from Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh, so that's the big Uruk-hai at the end, isn't it? That's very good. I hadn't thought. Oh, that's weird. That's weird that we don't think of Lord of the Rings having, but actually, okay. So Aragorn versus big fuck off Uruk-hai at the end of Fellowship of the Ring at 5. All right, what was Paul and Helen's number 5?
Their number 5 is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Now, I see what you mean, Alfie. I see what you mean. Are they taking the piss in all of their choices?
And about 3 of them.
All right. Well, I'll write it down because they are beloved members of this parish, but I will be sending DMs to both of those. Well, to both of them to let them know I'm disappointed. All right, I'm disappointed. Okay, in all fairness, it's memorable. It's iconic. It's not a sword fight. If I can't have Jet Li versus Donnie Yen at the beginning of Hero, no. But fuck it, fine, give it to him, fine. Matthew, back to you, number 4.
My number 4 is going to shock you. And then it's called The Boss. That's the name of the movie. It is actually a Melissa McCarthy comedy.
Okay.
But there is seriously a legit sword fight in the scene.
No, dude, I'm fucking
The
intrigued.
scene's called a literal sword fight.
Has anyone else seen this? Has anyone else seen this? The Boss? Has anyone else seen this? Is this real? Are you having me on, Matthew?
Yes, there is one.
I'm not kidding.
Is it good?
I don't remember.
We saw the scene today, and it's pretty impressive.
Matthew, can you do me a favor? Can you find the link to it? Can you find the link to it?
Yeah, I'll send it after I'm done.
Wonderful. Stephanie, by the way, has put the 13th Warrior sword fight in the nest if you want to take a look at that.
And I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Melissa McCarthy and Peter Dinklage.
Now, do you know what, Matthew? I take everything back. I take all the scorn. I'm pulling back my bucket of scorn that I was pouring over your choice there. You had me at okay. Melissa McCarthy versus Peter Dinklage. I'm in. I'm fucking in.
Yeah. And for the movie that's god awful, the sword fight was pretty damn impressive.
Okay, that's a great shout. I mean, I love that we're getting some range here, and you've just really set a new benchmark. Wonderful. All right, Anna, over to you for your number 4, please.
My number 4 is Troy, and it's the scene with Hector and Achilles.
Okay, excellent. No one has gone for the very first fight sequence between Achilles and it's the huge bald man. Should we just call him?
It's not really a fight.
That's what I love about it. I love that scene. I think I have an emotional connection to it because of the ending of the Hector versus Achilles fight scene. The way that ends, it's sad. It's really, really sad. I mean, that's Greek mythology for you, though. They do tragedy and pathos. I mean, they literally wrote the book on pathos.
Yes, I've read it, everything, and in original.
Excellent, Anna.
We were learning the original, so yeah.
Fabulous. Okay, brilliant. All right, Alfie, I'm coming back to you. I need Fahad's number 4, and then I need Paul and Helen's number 4.
Fahad's number 4 is Princess Bride, Montoya versus the Man in Black.
Wonderful. And what did Paul and Helen go for?
And Paul and Helen's number 4 is Hook.
Oh, now, hang on. Which are we talking? Rufio, or are we talking? Did they say which scene in Hook?
I'm not sure, but I rather don't think about that
movie. How dare you? How dare you be wrong about that?
It's not the best Spielberg movie. I'm just gonna say it.
No, it's not. I mean, that's not a particularly hot take, Gail.
That's an understatement.
He's got a few bangers, but it's not as bad. I mean, I think again we talked about this when we did the whole fucking weekend on Steven Spielberg. I think that one has a more nostalgic, kind of very clingy connection to people of a certain generation, much more than to the. I think if a younger person now watching Hook, I get it. I get why. I get it. But for me, it will always have a place in my heart. Maggie Smith, Tootles. Sorry, Maladin. I'm so sorry. I missed out your number 5.
Yeah. This is the second time in 2 weeks.
I've got a lot going on. All right, and
okay.
Go on.
It's the holiday, so I'm going to make okay. I am going. So when I heard that we're going to do this, there was like 15, 20 movies immediately in my head. Like I immediately thought of like 3 or 4 lists. That said, I'm going to exclude a couple of favorites, especially I'm not going to include The Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's everybody said, and not Monty Python. Okay, those 2 I'm not going to.
But you do. What's the word? Acknowledge.
I do have both of those in top 5.
Wonderful.
But because I have a lot of Asian, so let's teach the world there's more to Asian cinema than Michelle Yeoh, because Hollywood is doing its thing. Okay, so number 5, I'm going with something controversial because I like that. I'm going with The Lord of the Rings, Gandalf versus Balrog. They're both having.
Oh, actually,
yes, it is.
Oh, hang on.
Yes, it is. They're both having swords. Balrog has the flaming sword that he hits Gandalf's protection, and Gandalf has a sword when he hits that bridge. So I'm so sorry. Both have swords. That's it. I found the loophole for today.
Now, a part of me feels like you found a loophole. However, let's announce it for what it really is. That's an incredibly clever choice. That's excellent. If you think of iconic scenes of all time, and that is, that's interesting that we don't think of that as a famous sword fight, but it 100% is.
Yeah, they both have swords. I mean, what more do you want from sword fight?
Fair enough. All right, keep going. So we've got Gandalf versus the Flame of Uldun, the Balrog. What is your number 4?
Okay, I'm surprised nobody mentioned this, even though we have named it several times, Kill Bill Volume 1. But mine is The Bride versus O-Ren-Ishii.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes, I mean, that's the one I remember. Like, first, it's the coloring of the scene. I mean, we went from totally orange, totally bloody red, and into the white, blue, very dark. It was amazing. Then the music. Oh my God, the Spanish music into a movie of about samurai and in Japan. It was perfection. Whoever hasn't listened to Santa Esmeralda, it's amazing song. And I mean, the ending of that scene.
I want to talk about the ending. I want to talk about the ending because we've talked about what's important in fight sequences, and we've talked about timing. How this is essentially a musical number. It is beat after beat after beat, and they've got to be perfectly timed. Now, always, if you think about what happens in a fight sequence is usually a culmination of, usually towards either the end of Act 1 or the end of Act 3. It builds to a certain point. And the thing is with a sword fight is that very few sword fights end with both combatants coming out of it the other end. So we as an audience are now conditioned to believe the inevitable, where a fight has begun, one person's going to die. And that's hugely important because that's where the stakes are. That's where we're nailed to the mast in terms of we know someone's going to die. So therefore, what is it that you're going to do as a filmmaker that makes the end of your fight sequence different? What is it you're going to do to make it memorable, to make it stand out? And I think O-Ren-Ishii has one of the most memorable deaths in movie history.
Yeah, it's like the scalping of her. It's just amazing, and the fact that she has, I mean, her brain has lost.
I mean, that's so Tarantino,
part of it.
It's so Tarantino.
Part of it, and she says like, "This is indeed Hattori Hanzo played." Like, okay, let's die on that note. But it's amazing scene. I mean, artistically, with that water, I still remember that that water and the clinging and the clack sound it makes. The two of them just silently moving. Lucy Liu taking off her sandals.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing scene, and I mean, I know everybody went crazy 88, but for me that's the beauty of Tarantino in Volume 1 of Kill Bill.
It is a glorious love letter, and I mean, Tarantino has his faults. He does. He has his blind spots, but one thing no one can ever accuse him of is not being a student of cinema. And you see that right back in True Romance. Like, the boy is a huge fan of the Eastern cinematic product. It is a love letter to those samurai fight scenes from the kind of the 40s and the 50s. Beautiful. Okay, Matthew, back to you, sir, for your number 3, please.
Going from a Melissa McCarthy movie to a Japanese anime. My number 3 is the final battle scene from Sword of the Stranger.
Sword of the Stranger. I haven't seen it. Tell me about it.
So it's about a young boy who gets abandoned, and this person like picks on him when he was a kid, and then he grows up to be a master swordsman and decides to take revenge on the kid who bore him.
What do you remember the what year or roughly?
2006.
Wow. Okay. 2006. Sword of the Stranger.
I found this movie completely by accident.
Wonderful. I haven't seen it.
It was the first movie that popped in my head, so naturally I made it number 3.
I did do a recent rewatch of Ninja Scroll, and the opening sequence of Ninja Scroll. I saw it on Twitter. Someone posted the scene, and it gave me a flashback, and I was like, oh, "Fuck, I'm watching that again." Ninja Scroll. Again, I'm so glad we have some more representation from Japan in here. And in anime specifically. Okay, so Sword of the Stranger, final fight sequence is your number 3.
Oh, and the scene I sent is the Melissa McCarthy one.
That's right, and number 4. Okay, Anna, back to you. Your number 3, please.
My number 3 is Robin Hood, Prince of the
Thieves.
Between Kevin Costner, who plays the Robin
does.
Hood,
With an incredible accent, let's just say.
Yes, American accent.
Transatlantic, let's just say. I mean, at least give it a go.
When you have Alan Rickman, I think
even Christian Slater gave it a go, didn't he? And Christian Slater didn't come up in our fucking movie accents space. I will never know. All right, me governor.
Yeah.
Will, what was he? Will Scarlet.
But Alan Rickman was good.
I mean, he does absolutely. Okay, so this is between Kevin Costner and Alan Rickman.
And Alan Rickman, who plays the sheriff of Nottingham.
Also, shout out to another movie mentioned for Michael.
And it's in the end, you know, when they fight inside the tour.
That's right. Absolutely. It's one of the best scenes in the film. The other one,
because it's a little bit kind of funny.
It's a wonderful choice. Excellent. Okay, let me go to Alfie. What was Fahad's number 3?
Fahad also had Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Okay, another one for Jen versus Shulon. And what was Paul and Helen's number 3? Oh, hang on, let me get ready. Hang on.
This one's good. It's okay. Number 3 is John Wick, Chapter 3.
Okay. Ooh, remind me. Swords. Okay. Hang on.
There is a fight sequence with which I've always said it's very Kill Bill inspired, but
okay. Parabellum. John Wick, Parabellum. Number 3. Okay, perfect. Mladen, back to you for your number 3, please.
Sorry? Okay, time for Asian Jewel. I thought Alfie's going to mention this, but I was so happy that he didn't, because I really wanted to do something Akira Kurosawa, and I really didn't want to do the usual Seven Samurai, and I'm not. I am doing the Samurai versus the Bandit in Rashomon.
Rashomon. Oh, excellent. For those who haven't seen it,
that's like amazing.
The Samurai versus the Russia. Just give me some details.
It's the glorious fight. It's you know how we always think about these choreographed Asian fights, and these are even. Like when we see Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or Kill Bill, these are super choreographed things. Here you actually see the reality of fighting. You see how it's elegant, but it's real. It's bloody and it's not that gory, but it has certain realism that is about being the samurai. It's not just about like having like the cool moves. It just is a very, very powerful movie. I really love it. I recommend everyone to watch it. I mean, it's really great. I mean, yes, everybody knows about Seven Samurai, but Rashomon is truly, truly great.
Wonderful.
And
excellent shout. Fantastic. So Akira Kurosawa's Rashomon number 3. Back to you, Matthew. You're 2 and 1. Bring it home for us.
My number 2 is Blade versus Declan Frost from the first Blade movie.
You have some sneaky choices in here. So we're talking the final sequence, Blade versus Deacon Frost in the first Blade. Exactly. Wesley Snipes versus Stephen Dorff. Yep. Stephen Dorff with the most 90s hairstyle ever committed to celluloid.
So true.
The movie which gave us the immortal "some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill." What do you like about this, though? What do you like about this? I mean, the fact that he keeps chopping him and he keeps fucking coming back together, keeps chopping him up.
That was definitely a part I liked. Another part of it is I wasn't familiar with Wesley Snipes before I watched this movie. Like, I had no idea who he was. And I just thought, wow, this guy's like a badass action hero. How come he hasn't been in more action movies?
And then you found out.
I learned the history why. Then I learned why later on.
I mean, I'm so glad you've mentioned it. It does deserve a shout out. The movie as a whole is so underrated, so underappreciated. Let's not forget, that's where Marvel began. That's the first Marvel movie.
Exactly.
And it has one of the best opening scenes of all time. Let's not forget. If only there was a sword in that opening fight sequence, I have a feeling, that would have been on a few more people's lists. But I'm so glad we have Blade in there. Tell me about your number 1, though.
My number 1, the scene's been mentioned like 1,000,001 times, so I'm just going to say the movie. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Do you remember the first time you saw it?
Yes, it was. I was, believe it or not, I was 9.
At the perfect age. Perfect age.
My stepdad's like, come here, you have to watch this. And I watched it, and I'm just like, what on earth is this?
Is it one of the long forgotten rites of passage? It really is, isn't it? In terms of what dads pass down to their sons. And I'm not joking here, in terms of real important cultural legacy, a father, and I've thought about it a number of times because my boys are, they are 7 and 4, so the older is at an age where I think, Jesus Christ, he's probably ready. I mean, not for some scenes, but he's getting there. So there is I do love that there is that connection between people that, the first time their dad sits them down to show them Monty Python and the Holy Grail is a real moment, I think, for people.
It really is.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, fantastic. So you have gone for the Black Knight versus Arthur in Monty Python and the Holy Grail at 1. First mention for Blade versus Deacon Frost in the first Blade movie. The Sword of the Stranger at number 3, which I'm going to look up after this. Number 4 was The Boss, Melissa McCarthy versus Peter Dinklage. As I say, whatever misgivings I had, completely dissipated. I am here for that fight. Dude, thank you so much for bringing Scott Pilgrim versus Michael Cera versus Jason Schwartzman in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Thank you for bringing that to the table. That has really made my night so far. Good man, Matthew. Thank you. Let me go back to Anna, please, for your 2 and 1.
My 2 is from Dangerous Liaison.
Ooh.
From the 1988.
Yeah. So John Malkovich.
and Keanu Reeves. The final, the end, near the end. If you see it like that, you will say, "Oh, what kind of stupid scene is this?" Because John Malkovich could, if he wanted, he could kill
at any time.
Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves. Okay. But when you know the movie, you see all how the story goes. You understand that in fact, John Malkovich wants to die.
He does. There's so much more context, and again, we talk about the definitive nature of sword fights. How always one person is not walking away from this.
Yes, because it was a duel. At that time, they were handling matters like that, not in front of the courts.
Absolutely. Fabulous. Okay, so first mention for Dangerous Liaisons at number 2. What is your number 1?
Number 1 is King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, and it's the ending scene, when Arthur fights with King Vortigern or Mortiger, something like that.
In which movie? What's the name of the movie?
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
Is that the guy? Is that the one with Ray Winston and with Clive Owen? Oh, that's a great shot. That's a great.
Yes, but in that scene, when we're talking about sound,
yes,
there it's very well made.
Can someone find a clip from that? I want to watch that.
I can. Wait. I will.
If you can find a clip, because I want to watch that again. I can't bring it to memory, but I really want to watch that back again.
Yes.
It has a lot to recommend it, that movie, if I remember. Although I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it, but I'm intrigued to see the final sequence. So
you've never saw it?
I've seen the movie, just not in a long time. I had it on DVD. I remember when it came out, and I had it on DVD, but I can't bring the final scene to memory. Okay, so that was your number 1. King Arthur at number 1. Number 2, Dangerous Liaisons, Keanu Reeves versus John Malkovich. Number 3, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, so Alan Rickman versus Kevin Costner. Another vote for Troy. And number 4, Hector versus Achilles, and The Mask of Zorro. You do have excellent taste, Anna. I have always said that about you. Thank you so much. A wonderful 5.
Thank you.
A wonderful list. Let's go back to Alfie, please. Can you bring home Fahad's 2 and 1, please?
Yes. So Fahad's number 2 is Troy. Another vote for Troy.
Another vote for Troy. Lovely.
Yes. And number 1 is also another vote for Kill Bill, Volume 1, Crazy 88.
He's gone Crazy 88. Lovely. And then, okay, all right, let's strap in. Fucking hell. Come on. Paul and Helen's 2 and 1.
Number 2 is the fucking Gladiator.
The fucking Gladiator? Commodus? Yeah. Is this Commodus versus...
Probably.
Wow. The disdain. What's number 1?
Number 1 is also is Kill Bill Volume 1, but I'm not sure if it's the Crazy 88 or the Orenishi.
We'll find out. We'll assume just on statistics alone so far that it's Crazy 88, but we'll find out. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Mladen, bring it home for us, your list, please.
Okay, so I know I'm going basic with number 2 and number 1, but it is what it is. Number 2, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I mean, that's very actually. I watched the movie in 2013 after watching Game of Thrones and the duel between the Oberyn and the Mountain, because it was clearly inspired by it, as Oberyn yells, "You killed my sister, say her name." And
also the character, I can't remember his name, but whoever trains Arya Stark in the first series is very much taken. He is
Syrio Forel.
very much taken from that classic era of Hollywood. Those, and again, Princess Bride is, although that's, I believe, 80s. The fight sequences are very the swashbuckling style of the early kind of 30s and 40s Hollywood adventure movies. Wonderful. And what was number one?
Rob Roy.
Oh wow, another vote. Fantastic. Same fight.
I mean, there is so much about this scene. I mean, it's the pinnacle of just the European style of fighting and the duel that would generally be. Like, how would you see the duel? It's incredible. It's very in that it's very close, so there's not a lot of space. So actually, everything seems even more intense as you watch it. I mean, it's the best. I really cannot think of anything else. I have a lot of other things. I will mention them in the posts, but
thank you.
Yeah, that would be my top 5.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we'll try and get to honourable mentions. Thank you so much. But I love that tonight people have stuck to their guns, and it just because other people have chosen them, they're sticking to their guns, because I think it's reinforcing the need for all of us, if you haven't seen some of these classics, that you really need to go and see. Rob Roy at 1 from Aladdin, Princess Bride at 2, Rashomon from Akira Kurosawa at 3, Kill Bill Volume 1, and our first and only vote for the right choice from that movie is between Uma Thurman and Lucy Liu, Oren Ishii, and number 5, incredible, an incredible choice, and so out of left field, but so fits the criteria. They have swords. Gandalf versus the Balrog from Fellowship of the Ring. 2 votes for Fellowship of the Ring so far. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Let's get everyone else who hasn't gone so far. So that is going to be Ultra Lord. That's going to be Kale. Tero, have you got a list for us, brother? And definitely Abhijit as well. And Vanya, if you got...
I have.
You have, brother. Excellent. Let's get everyone's list from the end. So let's go. Let me write this down. Ultra, Kale, and then Tero, and Abji. And if we can get Vanya in, if you've got a list, I'm intrigued to know. Join as a speaker and we'll get your list in. But let's start with Ultra Lord. Ultra Lord.
Hey, what's going on,
good, man? You're West Coast, aren't you?
East Coast.
How was your Easter Sunday?
It was pretty good, man. I woke up late. I went to eat, and then I'm back home.
I mean, other than one other thing, that's pretty much a perfect day.
Yeah, pretty much. Everything was
Talk
closed.
to me about your list. Talk to me about sword fights. Where are you starting your 5?
All right, so I'm gonna go from goofy to interesting to amazing. So here we go. Number 5, I'm gonna start with something goofy. Wednesday versus Pugsley in Addams Family.
Oh shit!
With the prosthetics
dude. Yes. Christina Ricci versus guy whose name we can't remember, unfortunately.
Correct. But we all know who we're talking about. It was dramatic. It was funny. It upset the majority of the crowd, which is amazing for me. And it just, it just perfectly defined the Addams.
What's his name? Fester and can't remember his name. What's his name? Father's name. Daddy Addams.
Pugsley.
That's gone out of my head.
Gomez.
Of course it is. Sorry. There's also a great, fantastic swashbuckling fight scene between.
Yes, the Mamushka. Correct. Yes.
Excellent start, dude. Wonderful, excellent start. So Wednesday versus Pugs in the Addams Family. All right, Kale, over to you, sir. Where are you starting your list? Kale, can you?
Where am I stashing my
Yeah,
list?
where are you starting? Beginning, commencing.
Oh, okay, starting. Okay. Well, we're gonna start with something controversial. It's not lightsabers. It is. We're gonna start with, and Joanna would be so proud of me. It's so sad she's not here. It's
okay,
tragic.
Make sure you DM her and tell her that this was your number 5. But what is it? I'm intrigued.
It is King Arthur: Legend of the Sword.
Oh,
I think that's what it's called.
The one. I mean, Anna's number 1. Are we talking the end fight sequence?
Yes, the ending fight sequence between Arthur and Vortigern, or Jude Law.
Wow. Did not expect this. Didn't expect it to get a vote, and let alone 2 votes.
Well, it would have not made the list, but everyone voted for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So I was like, it's either this or Samurai Cop.
Fair enough. Okay, so Jude Law versus Clive Owen, I believe. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword at 5. Good start.
It's no. It's Charlie Hunnam versus Jude Law.
Wait. Oh, right. Sorry, it's Charlie. Oh, right. Okay, I'm with you. All right, wonderful.
It's a great fight scene. I'll put it in the nest after my list.
Listen, I'm not disputing that Charlie Hunnam is a good-looking guy. I'm just disputing his ability to act and do an accent at the same time. That's all. That's all I'm saying about him.
If I may,
he's good. He's good.
If I may interject, it's not really him. It's just like it's the fight scene itself. It's so like it's the video game cut sequence we've always wanted in a movie.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. You have my attention. I am intrigued. Tero, over to you. What is your number 5, please, sir?
Okay. Kill Bill Volume 2.
Okay.
Uma Thurman and Daryl Hannah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes.
Because we're not sure if they even die. The other one, of course, doesn't die, but the other one, we don't know.
We don't know. Technically, I mean, it is one of the most memorable. It's probably that scene alone is probably why I haven't watched Kill Bill Volume 2 that much, because it is pretty savage, isn't it? It's excellent. Daryl Hannah, one of her most memorable film roles. Splash maybe, but I mean
Blade Runner.
Yeah, I stand by what I said. Okay, all right, good start from Tero. So Kill Bill Volume 2, Uma Thurman versus Daryl Hannah. Abhijit, begin for me. What is your number 5, please?
Shanghai Night ending scene. Jackie Chan was fighting in Clock Tower.
Sorry, brother, you cut out a little. I couldn't hear you. Say that again for me.
Shanghai Night, when Jackie Chan was fighting in that clock tower.
Oh, in what's the movie?
Shanghai Night.
Oh, Shanghai Nights. Oh, I am so with you now. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan.
Yes.
Shanghai Nights. So the fight in the clock tower at number 5. Okay, brilliant. Back to you, Ultra Lord. Give me your number 4, please.
Awesome. Also, I just want to say I updated the list because everyone mentioned Troy and Gladiator.
That's okay.
And, well, all the good stuff. But anyways, number 4 is going to be a quick one. Nothing crazy. And but Freddy versus Jason, when Jason had his machete and Freddy had his razor glove. Nothing crazy. Very rough. Very stale. But
very you. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Very you.
Yes, I was gonna say that because I gotta throw a little
need
more
a Freddy. Yes, I had a feeling it was coming. It wouldn't be a 5 without a Freddy or a Jason from you. Good boy. Good boy. All right, Kale, coming back to you for your number 4.
My number 4 is Ridley Scott's The Last Duel between I can't pronounce these characters. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce these characters' names.
Is it Ben Affleck or is
Adam
it
Driver.
Matt Damon? Which one is it?
It's Matt Damon versus Adam Driver. It's the final fight. It is literally, I mean, Ridley Scott is in his mid-80s, and he's still, like, putting together, like, the best fight scenes and doing it in movies where it's so emotionally powerful. Because it all, like, as you were mentioning about Rob Roy, this is about a court case, and it's a duel of, you know, determined by, you know, combat. And if Matt Damon characters fail, I mean, the person accusing Adam Driver of rape is going to also die. So it's just like Jodie. So it's a very important in the way, even like the battle. I won't spoil the movie, but the way the battle ends, no one is feeling great. Like, and you just kind of have to admire how like Ridley Scott just pulls that rug.
It's some grueling dueling.
It is. It's a grueling duel, and it never leaves you like. It's not that it's not satisfying. It's just like it leaves you. And Alfie knows what I'm talking about. But it's just not a very like you don't feel great at the end.
Can we have a quick shout out that Ridley Scott probably has the most votes so far in terms of his movies? Because we have The Last Duel, we've had a number for Gladiator, we've had The Duelist.
It's almost like he's a good action filmmaker.
It's almost as if he knows what he's doing. Okay, fabulous. All right, great start. So that's your number 4. Tero, back to you, please, for your number 4.
It is Zatoichi.
You bastard!
There are many, but I'm talking about the Takeshi Kitano movie.
Yes, absolutely.
And the fight sequence
this was
in the rain.
My honourable mention.
The fight sequence in the rain.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Zatoichi, there's a few different versions of it. Just for anyone who's going to go away and look at it, which version are you talking about?
I haven't seen all of them. I'm talking about the Takeshi Kitano movie, about 20 years ago.
Wonderful, excellent. I'm so.
But it's a popular character in Japan. They have made maybe 30 movies or something.
The blind swordsman, effectively.
Yeah, he's blind.
And I think there's a lot of sword fights from more recent movies that have taken a lot. If you're being kind, you can say they've paid homage to Zatoichi. If you're being less kind, you could say they've basically just nicked. They've just stolen scenes from Zatoichi. That's a great shout. I'm so glad someone said that one. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Tero. Abhijit, number 4 for you. Number Cha.
Number 4 goes to Equilibrium. Christian Bale fight.
Christian Bale in Equilibrium. Excellent. It's
Yes.
underrated.
I love this film.
It's underrated. It so is. Talk to me. When did you? Do you remember when you first saw it?
I was thinking that this fight is going to be at least 2-3 minutes, but it's just ended in 30 seconds, and that was also good.
That's it. That absolutely. And I think Alfie said something similar. One of Alfie's choices, the Kira Kurosawa, the Sanjuro fight. Sometimes a 30-second fight is much more powerful than a 5-minute epic grueling fight. Excellent shout. So quick. Okay, Christian Bale in Equilibrium. Wonderful. I'm so glad someone said that because that needed to be mentioned tonight. Ultralord, back to you, brother. Number 3.
Number 3 is going to be Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. It's going to be Will Turner and God, I forgot his name, but Jack Sparrow's stuck in a wheel.
I've said the word swashbuckling more times tonight than I ever thought I might ever say in a concentrated period of time. I'm so glad we've got another vote. We've finally got a vote for Pirates. Dead Man's Chest, then. So that's the second one, isn't it? It's Orlando Bloom
with Davy Jones.
That's right. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. That's a great shout. Excellent shout. Okay, Kale, back to you, number 3.
Okay, so number 3, I had to switch around because I had to take out Crouching Tiger. So number 3 is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, Norrington, the 3-way fight.
I mean, it happens so often now that I'm just kind of getting used to it, but I still love it when it happens. Wonderful. So exactly the same as Ultra Lords. That's fabulous. Okay.
Wait, that was his number. Was his number 3.
That's literally the one that just came before yours.
Are you for real?
Yeah, seriously. It makes me think you're not listening, Kale.
I was writing something down.
Dude, okay, wonderful. No, that's exactly the same one. Exactly the same. So number 3, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Will Turner, Jack Sparrow, and Norrington. Tero, we're back to you for number 3, please.
It is Rob Roy.
Oh, same scene as everyone else. Final sequence. Another vote for you. Obviously, one of your favorites.
Huh?
Why is it one of your favorites?
I think it's very realistic. You can feel that the swords are actually heavy because they should be.
Mm-hmm.
And Liam and Tim, they actually get tired during that fight.
Yes.
So it's very realistic, in my opinion.
Fantastic. Another vote for Rob Roy. Fantastic. Thank you, Terry. All right, Abhijit, number 3 for you.
The Northman's last scene when both were fighting in cave.
Yes. Now, I'm not reading, but listening to an audiobook. It's a series called The Bloodsworn Trilogy by John Gwynne. If you're a fan of fantasy novels, John Gwynne, spelled Gwynne, and it is essentially the Northman seems to essentially be the closest thing that's ever been put on screen of that pure Viking, authentic mix of the mythology and almost the supernatural element of it. But let's not forget the battle sequences and the fight sequences in the Northman are stunning. Glad to see Robert Eggers kind of flexing in that kind of arena. But also, tell me more about the specific scene. Is the one at the end, you said?
Yes. In the end, I would think that both should die, and they both died, and I'm so happy with that. At least mayhem will stop.
And it's some feat of a movie to get you as an audience member, if you're hooked in, for you to be happy for the protagonist to go that way. It takes quite a lot. It takes quite a lot to get you to that point. So that says something. Fantastic. First shout for the Northman tonight. All right, we're on to everyone's final stretch. Let's go back to Ultra Lord. 2 and 1, please, brother.
Sure, man. 2 is going to be The Matrix Reloaded, Neo at the Chateau staircase. Or stairwell.
Very good. Oh, dude. I had not thought of that.
He picks up a whole bunch of weapons. I think he grabs size at one point, and the first part is he's stopping a whole bunch of bullets, so that was already exciting.
Fantastic. I mean, another shout for Keanu Reeves, who has turned up now in Dangerous Liaisons, The Matrix Reloaded, and John Wick Chapter 3. 3 different movies for Keanu Reeves in terms of sword fights tonight. Excellent. And a new one to the list. Dude, you always bring an original list. What is number 1 though? Have you gone with a classic, or have you gone with what have you gone for?
I've gone with something that I came across while I was watching a lot of J-horror. So this is a Japanese film called 13 Assassins.
Yes. Yeah.
And the specific scene I'm talking about is Shinsamon. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but Hanbei, and it ends with a brutal but pleasant decapitation.
Can you find a clip from it? Can you? Because I've seen 13 Assassins, but I've not seen it since it first came out. If I'd like, that's one I'm going to put back on the rewatch list as a priority.
Oh yeah, I will gladly find it, and I'll put it on here for everyone, so we can share the bloody
How
greatness.
did AC get on this weekend? Have they played?
Huh?
Milan.
Oh, of course we tied to a mid-table team after crushing Napoli 4-0. But hey, it's just another day in the life of a Milan fan. So.
I mean, usually I would have a leg to stand on, and I'd just sympathise and I'd say, "Tell me about it." But my team are just my team are just really good.
Yeah, I'm not. You know what? Yeah, my hats off to you. You guys have been flying. Yeah,
I mean, we
hey.
have been called shithouses. We've been called Arab Money United. We've been called all names, but let's just call it for what it is. We're just a good football team, and we are punching well above our weight.
Hey, you know what? Look, I mean, everyone makes fun of me, but at some point, all these teams need that huge injection of money because it's hard to compete, man. I mean, it's hard, especially, like our league. We get the least amount of money from TV rights and everything else. It's what we spend in one transfer window.
I mean,
half
it's
of the
not,
PL
dude.
teams
It's not
spend
even
like one player.
It's double figures. It's not even a tenth of what perhaps even like a lower Premier League team could spend. Yeah, I feel for you, but at the same time, I mean, you picked them, so, and I picked mine. I know. Ups and downs, brother. You always bring an original list, so thank you so much. So 13 Assassins at 1, Neo on the Staircase and the Matrix Reloaded at 2. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Will Turner versus Jack Sparrow. Number 4, Freddy versus Jason. Number 5, Wednesday versus Pugsley in the Addams Family. Excellent.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Also, a quick shout. I know you guys did a thing about accents or voices something.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to throw in Sacha Baron Cohen because Ali G, Bruno, and Borat. I mean, come on.
Original. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think people underestimate him because his characters are always so larger than life and so ridiculous. But the Duke can act. The Duke can hold an accent. He can hold his character.
Yeah. Don't let the goofiness fool you.
Great shout, dude. Brother, have a lovely end to your Sunday. Thanks so much, brother. Great list.
You too.
All right, Kale, back to you, sir. Bring it home. 2-1 for you.
Okay. Well, number 2 is definitely not Matrix Reloaded. Okay. So
there's that.
We're in the clear on that. So number 2 is Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. Mm-hmm. It's Kyuzo's sparring fight with one of the townspeople, or as the movie calls him, the moron.
Yes. That's a fabulous fight. That's a great shout. So another Akira Kurosawa. I love that we've had 3 or 4 now. 3 or 4. I can't remember. I think 4 maybe. 4 different Akira Kurosawa movies.
Well, Rashomon was one that I remember mentioning. Someone mentioned
was another. I think it's 3 now. So you're the third. So 7. I mean, listen. I thank you for the sake of completism. I mean, you can't not have 7 Samurai in this list. You can't not have 7 Samurai in here somewhere. So thank you.
Well, I mean, he's like, and also Akira Kurosawa is like one of the titans of samurai movies. You just can't not have him in
there's
here.
There's no Kill Bill. There's no Kill Bill without Akira Kurosawa. Absolutely. All right, what did you go with at number 1?
And number 1 is Kill Bill, Volume 1. Mm-hmm. I can't not choose this fight because this is one of my favorite movies. So so I'm going to end basically.
Okay.
Basically. But it is the Bride. It's not the Bride versus the Crazy 88.
It's got to be.
Even though that is.
It's got to be O-Ren-Ishii then, no?
Yeah, it is. It's a much more personal, much more brutal fight, and it's the first in the chronology of the story. It's the first battle fight that first person she kills.
I think it's also the first person she kills that kind of the audience doesn't want her to. Do you know what I mean? And that's a powerful dynamic in a story, is when you know that one of these people is going to die and you care about both. I think there's a lot of Oren Ishii obviously is a complex character, but when her story is presented to you, you fucking, I mean, tell me I'm wrong, but like people, I think you respect Oren Ishii when by the time you get to that fight sequence, you're kind of like, fucking Oren Ishii she's not entirely bad.
No, I mean, and she is. I mean, she's paid her dues, but also she's
culpable.
You know, I mean, she's culpable for her crimes, and especially to the bride. But the thing is, like, but the thing is, like, she destroyed the bride's family, or she's part of that, so she has to go. And it is sad because we've seen like what a path of an assassin like the bride and Oren Ishii and all the other characters have taken, where they have come from. Because you can see Oren Ishii, that's not just, her origin story. That's maybe everyone's origin story, even Bill's.
True.
And that's what makes the fight so compelling, is you're seeing two characters, you understand they're complex, and they're going at it, and it's going to end in a brutal way. And one goes, and one is even, and the best part about that scene is, it ends with the bride just devastated.
Yeah.
Like she just sits on a rock, just like, and she's killed like 100 people at this point, but seeing Oren Ishii, go out the way she did is
tragic
enough to already make her devastated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that was one of her, like, I mean, that was one of her co-assassins. Like, it's a co-worker. So
it bookended almost by in contrast between, I think there's a respect between Vivacia Fox, the Fox's character, and her at the beginning. There's obviously a degree of you see that there's a level of respect, but in between those two, it's very much Vivacia Fox's character is, I did what I had to do, fuck you. That's the, whereas there's a much more powerful connection, I think, between Oren Ishii and the bride. There's a much more emotional undercurrent.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's just, and that's why I love the Kill Bill movies, both of them, because we get to understand every character in a way. We have two movies to where we can learn about every character, be emotionally invested in them. Even if we hate them, we still have, like, there is a level of emotional empathy. Yeah, there's like you care. There's enough charisma. There's enough character there to when they die, we feel something.
Fabulous. All right, so
even if we're laughing at Daryl Hannah, screaming and dying.
There is that. Yeah. So
we laugh at her. We laugh at her pain.
I mean, she's a bitch. I mean, fuck that character. Okay, another vote for Oren Ishii at number 1 then from Kale for Kill Bill Volume 1. Number 2 was Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, the sparring session between Moron and the Samurai. Number 3, same as Ultra Lord, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. 4, The Last Duel, another vote for Ridley Scott at 4, and again another vote for King Arthur, Legend of the Sword at number 5. Wonderful. Right, let's bring this home for Tero, please. Tero, what's your number 2 and then your number 1?
Yes, I also have Kurosawa. I have Yojimbo.
Oh, another one, a different one. Okay. Talk to me about this.
This scene I'm talking about is the one you can see in a movie, The Bodyguard. Kevin Costner shows that movie to Whitney Houston's character.
That's right. Oh, I knew it. So how is it pronounced again? What's the name of the movie?
I'm not sure if I said correctly. Yojimbo.
Yojimbo. Yeah, that's the one that Alfie was talking about, I think, at the beginning. Fabulous.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, so another Akira Kurosawa.
I had this.
That's right. Tero, what was number 1?
Well, I started with Kill Bill Volume 2 and I ended with Volume 1.
And I bet you've gone Oranishi too.
Crazy 88.
Oh, he's gone 88.
And I love the fact that they made it in black and white because of the censors. But in Japan, you can see it in color.
Oh, and I'm sure you can find a clip to that actually as well. If we can find a clip to the color version.
And in Japan, it also runs longer.
Interesting.
More limbs are being cut in that version.
I mean, it's there's a lot of what's it called? Oh, fuck's sake, it's gone out of my head. Battle Royale. There's kind of a lot of Battle Royale kind of elements in Kill Bill. There is that, I think, and Crazy 88. I get another vote for that. I think that might be the most popular choice for tonight so far. I'll have to add it up. Thank you, Tero. All right.
Well, when I saw sword fights, I automatically thought about Japan. So
there you go. That's interesting.
So most of my list are about Japan.
Japanese, either Japanese or one quick vacation off to the north of Scotland. Rob Roy, brilliant list. Thank you, Tero. So Kill Bill Volume 1, Crazy 88 at 1. Yojimbo, Akira Kurosawa at number 2. Rob Roy, another vote at number 3. Zatoichi, thank you so much for bringing that one to the table. And ends with Kill Bill Volume 2 at 5. Uma Thurman versus Daryl Hannah. All right, beautiful. Thank you, brother. Abhijit, finish it off for us. Give me your number 2 and then your number 1.
Number 2 goes to my James Bond movie, Die Another Day.
Oh!
James Bond, with Gustavo Gage.
Quite a homoerotic. I don't know why I think that. I always think, but yeah, between Pierce Brosnan and who's the other character? Remind me.
Something Gustavo kind. I don't know how pronouncing.
I'm glad that we've got a James Bond in there. Die Another Day and number 2, fabulous. What's your number 1?
Look, that movie, one of the worst James Bond movie, but I love that fight scene.
It is. It's got Halle Berry in it, but then again, it's got an invisible car in it as well. So good and bad. Abhijit, what is your number 1 sword fight?
The Last Samurai, Tom Cruise character fighting in that rain.
Yes. I'm so happy. I'm so happy you got that in there because I was beginning to lose hope that it was going to come up tonight. Thank you so much. So yes, remind everyone the sword fight in particular.
This fight is so awesome. This is so much metaphorical lines that it's not always about winning and losing. You have to just stand up and take a stand.
Yeah, and take a.
And he was also trying to win heart of that girl. She was watching.
100%. Victory takes many forms and has many faces. 100%. Oh, I'm so happy with the last vote. With the last vote of the evening, we got Last Samurai in there. Fabulous. So your 5 are number 1, Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai. Number 2, Die Another Day. Number 3, The Northman. Love that we have that in there. Number 4, Equilibrium, Christian Bale, and Shanghai Nights at number 5. That's brilliant. Right, guys. I'm not going to do honorable mentions. Please do me a favor though. Can you post your lists in the chat? Share them as much as possible and if you can include links, that would be incredible. I want to say thank you so much to Stephanie and to everyone who's but mainly to Stephanie for putting all the links in the nest for tonight, because this is different from other things. It's different from love scenes and other things. It's fabulous to actually get have stuff to actually go away and watch after tonight, and there's a number of them that I haven't seen, so I want to see Alfie's Sanjuro Akira Kurosawa scene, that one, and The Duelist. That's another one for my list tonight. Lots of homework. All right, let's finish it there. Is there anything anyone? Oh, Jesus Christ! Fucking hell, sorry about that. And any recommendations? Very quickly. I'll throw it open to
Beef.
Other than Beef, Alfie, what else should we be watching?
Nothing. What's Beef?
Okay, just Beef. Not the Super Mario Brothers movie.
It was okay.
That's what I've heard. I think people losing their shit over Super Mario is beginning to annoy me a little bit. I'm not sure.
It's fine.
It sounds like it's fine. I haven't seen it, so I shouldn't actually comment.
I feel like Mario. I think that movie doesn't have a second act. It just has like the first and the last act.
Yeah, it's missing a lot of character stuff.
I mean,
and that's the big.
It has got Charlie Day in it. I have a feeling.
Yeah,
he's fine.
He was barely in it.
I have a feeling it feels like Nintendo probably wouldn't allow it. I mean, it's no. Is it up there with the Lego Movie? I have a feeling it's not.
Oh God,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
And I think that might come down to Nintendo's grip on their IP.
The Lego Movie is like a nice medium rare steak, and this is like a McDonald's hamburger.
Hey, listen. Sometimes I'm up for that. I'll take the steak
sometimes.
9 times out of 10 though. All right, guys.
But one more recommendation: Air. Go see Air.
That's as soon as I get a chance, as soon as I get the opportunity. I've heard nothing but good things. I used to work for Nike a while back, so I know the whole Phil Knight backstory. I didn't think that I'd be interested in this because I know that story back to front. But from everyone's reviews, I have to see it now. I have to see it. Everyone says it's fabulous.
Just go see Air, everybody. It's really good.
Excellent. Right. Again, thank you so much, Alfie. Thank you to Stephanie so much. Thank you for putting all the links and for being there as a co-host for the first time this evening. Let's bring it to an end. I love you all. Have a wonderful end to your Easter. If you've got a day off tomorrow,
watch Beef.
Enjoy it. And go and watch Beef. In the words of the Big Blue Dude, love you all to pieces. And bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.